if we have another pandemic or we have another situation where we can't go to the grocery store, I think you're going to think back and say, wow, I didn't really need that $90,000 Porsche. I could have put in, 20 fruit trees that would be producing for my family. I mean, like, get back to the basics.
Right. Remember with COVID, everyone was thinking that for a couple months.
I know, and now
everyone just wanted health. Everyone just wanted to be safe.
And they wanted to eat good food.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So I don't want to lose that message. It's very important to keep that going. Mm-hmm. And hand that baton off to the next generation. Our potential, it's exponential.
Hey guys, welcome to another podcast, and today is a special day. We have Kathy in the house. Kathy basically donated the first space for our farm at Urban Abundance before it was even a thing. And yeah, let's talk about that maybe. Kathy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Jack. I'm beyond delighted to be here. And I just have to start by telling you how proud I am of what you have created based on meeting you in 2017 at the farmer's market, selling Jack's garden beds. And I think I was your first customer that day. And when I came home and told my husband, I said, I met this guy and he's doing these beds and I bought 4 of them. And he was like, honey, can you ever just put a toe in the water and buy 2 beds? You had to buy 4 beds. I said, I just got a feeling from this guy. I think he's the real deal. He's, I don't know how many people know about you leaving college and going and traveling to 9 different countries and farming. I don't know that everybody knows that. And that was a very compelling part of it for me. It's like, well, this guy's young, but he's been around and this sounds very interesting.
Thanks, Kat.
So the garden beds.
We went on an adventure, man. We started a farm, like literally. That was it. We were pulling radishes and salad and carrots. Tell them, Kath.
It was just unbelievable. We were into the garden beds, just the ones that I put in.
Yes.
And then you came to me with the food farm plan.
Wow.
And that was like, what do I have to do?
That's amazing. By the way, guys, I didn't even know you pulled this out from when was this?
2017.
2017. That's insane. 6 years.
6 years
Pre-COVID,
ago. Yeah.
Urban Abundance.
Exactly.
But I remember, here's the story, because Kathy was like basically blown away. The arugula came up. She was like harvesting and seeing it, right? And you were like, let's like do this whole space. Like my kids, you're like an empty nester or whatever. Your kids are like having kids, Yeah,
I let you have the baseball field.
Basically. Yeah. It's so epic. Yeah, I was like, this is tons of sun. Like we could go do this. And I remember like getting rid of the sod. Like we were just going for it, right?
Yeah.
You saw it. And now what's up? We have like probably 100 fruit trees on the site. What do you think?
It's total food. It's totally transformed my property. I've lived there for 35 years, and the last 6 have been epic. It's just so different there now. And the timing of having my first grandson right when I met you and Urban Abundance was just born. And I remember you coming over with people, and I'd be like, hey, be quiet. There's a baby sleeping in the back room. And, it was just this whole transformation. And
she was pregnant when we started.
Right.
Wow.
Yep. So you've been through
and he
the whole
grew
thing.
up on like a farm.
Oh, he did
because of that. That's crazy.
He is. I have so many great stories about him. But you had asked me, what is your favorite fruit? And I said, well, he was probably 2.5, maybe 3 when we planted the first watermelon. So now we're done with season, and we're going in the summer months, and we planted the watermelon seeds. And I remember when the first watermelon, started to pop up, and his dad came to pick him up, and David's all dressed up from work, and Dad, you got to come and see this. And he drags him into the garden, and he starts showing him all the watermelons, and he looks up at his dad, and I wish I had this on film. He goes, Dad, this came from a seed. And that moment for me was beyond. I wish I just had a. I'm just not a film. I don't run around with my phone in my pocket.
That story's beautiful. Karen.
Yeah, but and
he's
that's,
young too. He
was real young when that all happened, and now he's all about it. You had a farm day with a bunch of people one day.
Yeah.
And a
He's
girl
ripping up the tractor. It's so
Oh yeah, but we were inside cleaning. We were
Yeah.
inside cutting up a watermelon, and one of the girls came in and said, "Can I use the ladies' room?" And she said, "Oh, you're cutting up a watermelon." And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, she looks at David and she goes, "Well, how did you know it was ready?" And he looked at her like, "How do you get to be a grown adult and you don't know when a watermelon's ready?" He said, "A yellow belly." Like, and he looked at me like, "Kiki, is there something wrong with her?
Yes.
Like, she doesn't know this?"
Yeah. He's intuitive.
Oh, he all about it.
It's so cool. Yeah, it has transformed so much. I love how we're talking about this, Kath, and it's an honor to have you too. Thank you. And you really have believed in me when, I had 2 clients, one
Yeah.
client. Like you were the first one of the season
Yeah.
before. It's amazing.
And that's why it's so amazing to see how this has rolled out. And, you can't even really make this stuff up. It just kind of evolved on its own. And really the pandemic, because you weren't out in the farms yet. So you were still using our property for, the mulch and the soil.
I was
and
there
Indian.
every morning.
Well, and then I moved home because we closed our office. So all of a sudden I'm seeing all this traffic in and out. I'm like, what is going on here? Like it exploded for you. And that is the thing. It just kind of makes me feel a little bit bad that movement of the pandemic and, we should be growing food at home and not relying on the grocery stores and in it.
Yeah.
And now everybody's kind of back to like, whatever. But we don't need to go back there. We need to go forward and like be cognizant of what we are growing. Even if you've got whatever you've got. You could do something with. You can.
It's possible now, right?
Exactly.
It's cool. Yeah, and where we're at, our little pocket, the little point, Pennock Point Peninsula, like you could grow so much.
Oh yeah.
It's so perfect. The
It
mangoes
really is.
just go off, all of it, bananas.
It's right now there's probably 30 hands of bananas that are fixing to be ripe and
insane.
Yeah.
And and really the key, right, is like you also have been so great. You like always tuned in, like nurturing and being on it with the seasons, and all those things, which you need to have. But it's also like we just planted, right?
Right.
Like we literally just went out and did it.
Well, and a couple of things that I learned from you that were so important. You know that I'm very sensitive about waste. And you said, Kath, after being on all these farms all over the world, there is waste in food production. There just is. And sometimes you can't get it where it needs to go in time and it becomes compost. So at least it's
or the
recycled.
Worms get it.
Right, exactly.
But exactly. Thank you, Kath. At least it goes to the earth. It becomes compost. And I remember teaching you that.
Exactly. And that was a hard thing for me to get over.
Yeah.
And the other very important thing was to be like in Florida, we can plant all the time. I grew up in Ohio, and you planted in the spring and you harvest in the fall, and that was it.
Yeah.
So here, we're so lucky to be able, there's different things for different times of the year that we can just continually have that, if you're not planting, you're not farming, is what I remember you telling me many times over.
And I was taught that from the masters.
That's so good.
You're awesome, Kath. Yeah, we've had events at the farm. It's so fun. Kids running around, just like community, plants. What else? You have like so many cool plants like at your place.
Well, I have my old side, my cactus and my succulents that, people think, well, you're in Florida. You're not in a desert. You can't. The succulents are, they blow me away. And the orchids. Wow. I mean, I have gotten this whole new relationship with all the plants, And so that I bought a retail store. It's a ladies' consignment. And
shout out, what's it called? How do you?
When I bought it, it was the Tequesta Stock Exchange, and now it's going to become the Tequesta Exchange Boutique. And the difference is just going to be, we're not just going to be doing clothing. And on Mother's Day this past year, I had some little propagating, the little vases, and I had them on the counter. And anybody that asked me about it, I would say, well, this is spinach I grow in my yard. My propagation rate's 90%, meaning I use it, I strip it, I eat it, but then I leave the top on, and I get about 90% into a new plant. So I had all these plants outside, and I said, if you would like to have one, they're not for sale, but you could have one as long as you'll share it with someone else. And I got such a fantastic, they're like, You don't want money for it?
That's so
No,
fun.
I just want you to take the spinach to
Yeah.
somebody who's not eating spinach
Yeah.
and share the spinach, because as I met this herbologist at our last plant sale, she said, when you pick something from the earth and eat it like immediately, the difference in the value of the food is so beyond.
It's
like,
beyond, right?
And when I started,
People need to know, because it's night and day. Yeah, Kath. So,
when I started
yeah.
to really eat what I was growing, and so I start out the day with a smoothie that's loaded with, and you can put anything in there. I give it to my grandson. He doesn't know what he's drinking. And as long as there's a little more strawberry than anything else in there, he'll drink it all down. Now, I don't have to worry about him the rest of the day. He's got everything he needed for the day in that smoothie. And when I started to do that I feel different at 64 than I did at 44. And it's all about what I'm eating.
Totally.
100%.
Yeah, I love how you're saying that.
Yeah,
Kath.
it's
and the lifestyle, right? You're out there in the
Oh.
sun, you're paddling in the morning.
absolutely.
Right.
But I had the energy to do all that, where I used to limit. I didn't feel like I had the energy to do, I can't do yoga and paddle in the same day. Why? Because I had a limitation on myself that I wasn't able to, because I had a number associated with how many birthdays I've had. Like, what the hell is that all about?
Guys, Kathy is so amazing. She is a rock star. You're a girl. You're an operator. You have businesses.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do it, Kathy? How do you?
You
do
know
it
what? I'm at a point now where I don't. I don't. It's not work for me anymore. I've got people running things that are completely amazing, and just try to really take care of people. And that is something that came out of the pandemic. I used to be the boss. I'm not the boss anymore. I tell people when they leave, "You're going to come back tomorrow?" Oh, I hope you come back tomorrow, because I need them.
Yeah, it takes a team.
Oh my gosh! And they're
But you're a leader. That's my point.